Hi friends, this is CC and welcome to Hobby Hands. In this vlog, we're going to turn this into this. Yes friends, we are going to build this, the Airfix 1/72 scale model of the hunting Percival jet Provost, the T4, which comes with paints, cement and a paintbrush. One of our friends, Martin from Great Britain, has very kindly and generously sent me a lot of really nice model kits, including this one. Martin, thank you very much. This build and this vlog are both dedicated to you. Now, the Jet Provost was a jet trainer that was introduced in the 50s with side-by-side seating for pilot and student. The T4 has an upgraded engine and served with the Red Pelicans, one of the Royal Air Force's display teams. This model is completed in the Red Pelican colors. Let's look at what's inside the box. Firstly, the back of the box shows the paints and the decals guide. In the box, you get a little bag with paints and cement. I might not use this. This is the instruction manual. The build steps are very clear, with the parts being highlighted in color, and this ensures that they are assembled correctly. This is the decal sheet, and the decals are clear and colorful with not much excess carrier film. This is the included paintbrush. It looks to be of good quality and I will keep this for future use. This first sprue contains the lower wing and tail surfaces, two pilots and the wheels. The surface details are crisp with recessed panel lines. The second sprue contains the two fuselage halves, the cockpit tub and other parts, and ejection seats. This last sprue here contains the two upper wing halves. Again, nicely molded, hardly any flash, even with the tiny parts. This is the clear sprue with the canopy parts. The clear parts are clear and free from distortion. Okay, let's start building. The first thing I like to do is separate out the larger pieces. Then, with the scribing tool, I like to deepen the recessed panel lines. I run the scriber along the panel line between 3 and 5 times. That should give us a deep enough panel line. The Airfix plastic is quite soft, so three times will be enough to deepen the line. The first scribe is gentle, and we increase the pressure with each subsequent scribe until we are happy with the depth of the panel line. The next part of the build is the interior of the T4, including the cockpit tub, the seats, pilots. Here we go. With the pilots, we first need to clean up and scrape off the mold lines with a blade. The next step is to use white primer on the skin of the pilot figures, for example the face and hands. Next, we prepare the parts for the cockpit tub. Clean them and glue some of these parts together. We also gather the parts that need to be painted in the interior colors. Okay, let's start by painting the pilot figures. As most of the interior parts are quite small, I brush paint this, including the pilots. The interior is painted in a dark grey. The instructions call for black, but I prefer to use a dark grey. The Airfix plastic feels oily and the paint does not go on well. Next time I will probably wash the parts with soap and water first. A bit of a close-up of the pilots with all the base coats painted on, and the ejection seats as well. Okay, once all the base painting is done and dry, we give all these parts and the pilots a couple of coats of gloss clear varnish. The next step is to give the parts a wash. For the pilots, we use a brown wash for the skin colors and a black wash for the rest of the bodies. For the interior of the cockpit, we use a black wash. Once all the wash has dried, we then use a cotton bud with enamel thinner to clean up the excess wash. We also apply some white paint with a dry brush. A close-up of the pilots. We also clean up the excess wash from the cockpit and interior parts. We then use some weathering paint on the interior parts This generates some more interesting colors. For example, light grey to lighten up the interior. We also give the interior parts a dry brush with white. Okay, time to finish the interior assemblies. The seats are attached now. And so is the instrument panel. And finally, the pilots are attached. A close-up of the pilots in the cockpit. And the instrument panel. We now give the interior parts a flat, clear varnish. Okay, once a flat, clear varnish has dried, it's time to assemble the cockpit into the fuselage. I then prepare the front of the model for some ballast, as this aircraft will most likely be tail heavy. We add ballast and some thin CA glue. Just a tip, we need to add a fair bit of weight to the front of this aircraft. We now assemble the two fuselage halves together. The fit is a little tight and there appears to be a small gap. We'll run some model cement into the joints and then hold the halves together with masking tape. Done. What I'm doing now is dipping the clear canopy parts into floor polish. So dip, shake off the excess, and blot out any remaining liquid into a kitchen towel. Then we store the parts in a box with a lid while the polish dries. Okay, just sharing with you a bit of an issue on the quality control on this kit. The lower single piece wing was not completely molded. The ailerons at the wingtips did not receive enough plastic material, and so there are holes in the aileron. There. And on the other side as well, an even larger missing portion. When you assemble the wing, there will be holes. Well, I can either write to Airfix and await their response, or in my case, I'm just going to continue the build and fill the holes with putty. Attaching the wing now. Okay, now that the model cement has dried, it's time to make the model's joint lines disappear with some putty. I use some masking tape to reduce the area I'm applying putty, and then later sand as well. With the putty, I mix it with some lacquer thinner to make it easier to work with. I'm putting putty on the ailerons to cover the molding imperfection. Okay, now the putty is dry, so I will begin sanding. I sand with 600 grit paper, and then 800, 2000 and finally 6000 grits. The sanding is completed now, and I will just quickly show the aileron bits. The holes are now gone and the aileron is complete again. I use putty and surfacer to achieve this. Okay, assembling the tail now. Then the air intakes. The fit is reasonably good. Alright, just weathering the cockpit some more before we close this up with a canopy. I'm building this model with a closed canopy. Next, once the canopy glue is dry, we will mask the clear bits. I use a cotton bud and toothpick to push out the air bubbles from under the masking tape. Then, with a sharp blade, we cut the masking tape and remove the bits we don't need. Just showing you the fully masked canopy now. I'm also applying some masking fluid at the masking tape edges to prevent paint from seeping through or seeping underneath the tape. The whole aircraft will be painted red. Although there is a small pot of red paint included here, I will use my own lacquer paint, but I might just mix in some bright orange to get a bit of a glow and to make the color more interesting. Okay, firstly we will paint the canopy frames in the interior grey color. After that, I start to pre-shade the model in black and white. This is the result of the pre-shading. Okay, now we will paint the base coat of red in several thin layers on the model and allow the pre-shading to show through. Done. I've also completed detailing on the aircraft, such as the anti-glare black panel in front of the cockpit, the wheels, and the landing gears. Next, we will give the whole aircraft a coat of gloss clear varnish or two. The gloss varnish is now dry and you can see how shiny the model is. Time to apply wash. Black for the interior and other parts. And dark brown for the red areas. Once the wash has dried, we use a cotton bud and some enamel thinner to clean up the excess wash. Then it's time to apply decals. There is only one version here, so we will use up all of these decals. Airfix decals are nice. They're thin and good to work with, but you have to be quite quick to apply them once they're out of the water, because sometimes the decals may collapse. I'll add some decal softener to help the decals stick better. Once the decals are dry, I like to use a knife to cut the decals where they are sitting on top of a panel line. So just gently cut the decal along the panel line, and this makes the panel line show up from under the decal. Next, we give the model another coat of gloss clear varnish to seal the decals in and protect them. Okay, once the varnish has dried, we will do the final assembly. The landing gear and the antenna need to be attached. I like the way the tires in this model have a flat spot to simulate the weight of the aircraft on the tires. Okay, let's now give the whole model some weathering. I would expect that this demonstration aircraft will be kept well maintained and clean, so not too much weathering. Just some colors to break the red monotone, maybe yellow and white weathering. Might add some oil stains near the engine. And then we'll also add some burnt metal, red and blue at the exhaust for heat marks. I then give the model a dry brush of white paint to pick out the race details. Not too much, although you can always wash the white paint off with some enamel thinner. The next step is to give the entire model a flat clear varnish. Done. Next thing I want to do is remove the canopy masking. Do this carefully and slowly. We don't want to mark the finish. The canopy remains very shiny. All done. So this is the top view, the side view, and the bottom view. Thoughts on this model? A very simple, straightforward build. The parts fitted well. The only gripe being the misformed ailerons on the lower wing tips. Luckily the repair was not too challenging. So we'll do some close-ups. The front side of the aircraft with the red Pelican logo. The tail with another logo. This is the nose landing gear showing the flat spot. And the main landing gear again with the flat spot in the tire. A close-up of the nose. The cockpit with the two pilots. The top of the aircraft. The underside of the aircraft. The exhaust and the tail. This is the aircraft posing on the tarmac. Well friends, hope you like this vlog. Please subscribe to my channel. Please give me a like. Please share this video with your family and friends. And please leave me some comments below. Again, my thanks to Martin from Great Britain for this wonderful model. Martin, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Friends, thank you very much for watching. For now, this is CC wishing you well.